From aimlessly throwing his cash around like a kid in a candy store to completely losing the faith and trust of Twitter's former CEO, these are Elon Musk's biggest mistakes yet. Ever since the tech mogul took over Twitter, he's taken a lot of heat for every move he's made. Whether it's giving away verified ticks for the sweet price of $8 a month or the analytics feature that shows how many people have viewed your tweet, Elon's been wreaking havoc over the platform ever since he became the chief twit. But of all the things he's done, one of his biggest mistakes is trading in the app for a price that many consider to be a huge loss. Luckily for you, I happen to be really good at my job and I've got all the deets, so I'm gonna hit you with some facts. We all know that Elon buying Twitter wasn't exactly a walk in the park. I mean, he almost called the whole thing off, but then in October of 2022, he closed the deal for a whopping $44 billion. People thought that dropping that much coin on the app was ridiculous. But you know Musk and the eccentric billionaire's all about throwing his dough around. To him, taking over companies is like collecting Pokeballs. Sure, his resume is impressive, considering he's literally shooting for the stars with SpaceX, changing the face of transportation with Tesla, Hyperloop, and don't forget the Boring Company, but his recent takeover of Twitter's gotten him into some trouble. Word on the street is that now the social media app's only worth a third of what Elon paid for it, and Musk and his co-investors are already admitting that they overpaid for it, but despite all the noise, he thinks he can turn Twitter into an everything app, and that someday it could be worth $250 billion. I've gotta say, I love the confidence, Elon, but that seems like wishful thinking to me. Then again, I don't have $1 billion lying around, so who am I to judge? Since the takeover, Elon's made a lot of changes to the app, from blocking alternatives ways to view Twitter, goodbye Tweetbot and Twitterific, to create a more personalized experience of viewing tweets. Musk is dividing users with his crazy new updates. Not to mention, he even got some of the most controversial accounts on the platform reinstated. Remember when Kanye was banned for his anti-Semitic posts, or when Donald Trump was banned for tweets that fueled the attack on the Capitol? It seems like Musk is so obsessed with freedom of speech that he even tolerates it for people who are hell-bent on using it to cause harm. And it's not a good look for him. Other changes he's made to the platform are also getting under people's skin. Like those silver and gold ticks used to differentiate between official businesses and famous people, including celebrities, journalists, or even brands. For example, if you had a blue tick from when Jack Dorsey ran the whole shebang, then you'd be a legacy account, and you may or may not have any badge of authority. But if that was replaced by a gold or silver tick, it means you're a legit business, or someone famous enough to earn it. Are you with me so far? Good. And those are just some of the things he's tweaked around in the hopes of making it an all-in-one app. But what he's really done is drive users away, and that's why Twitter's market value has plummeted. Clearly, despite Elon's best efforts to improve the experience for Twitter users, the fruits of his labor aren't paying off. In a monthly disclosure, the financial services giant Fidelity has given a rough estimate of the platform's performance, and the website's only worth 33% of what Musk paid for it. And guys, I'll be the first to admit that I flunked high school math big time, but 33% of 44 billion's roughly 15 billion, right? Now, whether Fidelity's evaluation and assessment is credible or not is something that Bloomberg's still trying to figure out. According to Bloomberg, it's unclear how Fidelity Investments was able to arrive at the lower valuation. So do you guys have access to non-public information from the company or something? Who knows? Either way, things aren't looking great under Musk's leadership. That is, if he has anyone left to lead. After dropping $44 billion on this bad boy, Elon wanted to make it more cost-efficient, and his grand plan to make it the best app on the planet included firing 50% of the staff that's been talking, walking, and breathing Twitter since July of 2006. I'm talking 3,700 people here. The mass firings forced him to pay the workers 60 days worth of wages, which certainly hit him in the pocketbook. But you know Musk, and he's always got a backup plan ready. To reduce the amount of redundancy payments, he didn't immediately fire 50% of Twitter's staff because it's illegal under California law, so he called it 60 days of severance. Talk about a rough breakup, and apparently the tech genius didn't like the concept of working from home during the pandemic, so he told each employee that they needed to be at the office, and if they weren't, he was gonna start handing out pink slips. In fact, he's against the concept so much that he'd prefer his employees sleep at the office than at home. He thinks he's onto something with his anti-work from home approach, but the truth is, bringing his staff into the office doesn't always save costs. And if anything, it's likely to skyrocket all those administrative expenses. Plus, Twitter was known for being an inclusive employer, and now with the work from home option completely out of the question, the platform lost that title big time. For some strange reason though, Musk is loving it. The guy probably has a #1 glove on whenever he's working, cause he's his own biggest fan. It's like he poisoned the town's water supply, and he's taking pride in the fact that everyone's mad at him. Not only has Elon's Twitter project become a total failure, but his net worth hasn't been doing so well either. Did you know that it dropped by $100 billion last year? True story. The lowest it's been. He's been hell-bent on getting Twitter 2.0 up and running, and yeah, sure, it's up, but it's not running how he hoped it would be. His obsession with the work mind virus has him losing his advertisers because now no one wants to advertise on Twitter. And the company's already projecting the net ad revenue to drop by 27.9%. Hell, people are even calling the platform Musk's Twitter now. And that's enough of a reason for celebs like Gigi Hadid to log off from the app. A huge problem in the equation is that Elon's been treating this new toy as a tech company, and I guess vast riches can buy you anything. But one thing it can't buy is a step-by-step guide that teaches you how to manage huge social media platforms. I mean, he's tried to salvage most of what's left of Twitter, but every move is one blunder after another. And you know what makes things even worse? His entire business slogan is to bring the world closer together and organize this world's information. But he's not really achieving that goal in real life. It won't matter how many languages the code is written in or how many community bots are helping on Twitter, because he's already messed up the one thing in the social media world that matters most: customer attention. If you're still not convinced that my criticisms of Elon are accurate, maybe Jack will convince you. Dorsey himself criticized Musk's leadership of the company, saying Musk should have walked away from the acquisition. When Dorsey was asked if Musk was the right leader for Twitter, he said, "No, nor do I think he acted right after realizing his timing was bad. Nor do I think the board should have forced the sale. It all went south." In a tweet from April of 2022, Dorsey said he trusted Elon's mission to extend the light of consciousness through Twitter, but now his opinions clearly changed, and he knows that Elon's acquisition of Twitter was a big mistake. So from completely losing the faith and trust of Twitter's former CEO to aimlessly throwing his cash around like a kid in a candy store, those were Elon Musk's biggest mistakes yet.